I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Chris Scales,
Good evening.
Greg Hectus,
What up?
Mason Stiver,
Brr.
Tony Groves,
Howdy, fellas.
and special guest Josh Sleater.
How's it going, fellas?
Hey, welcome everybody. All right, yeah, you said Burr. It's 72 degrees here right now in Phoenix. I think it got pretty cold up where you guys were at, right?
So,
Yeah.
Negative 24 today. I was even off of work.
Wow. What a thing. Let's get to know you, Josh Sleater. You just joined our team, Team Tifosi. You've been a listener of the podcast, and you heard us put the call out for team members, and you answered the call. And the timing is good because we're getting ready to start NIS. You're going to run the NIS season with us, and amongst other things. And so let's get to learn about you a little bit. What first brought you to iRacing initially, and how did you first hear about it?
When I was a teenager, I used to race the NASCAR 2003 season with Papyrus. Once that started fading away, a couple years after that, iRacing was created, and I learned about it pretty early on. I think I learned about it from TV with Earnhardt Jr. Never had a computer to run it, and a couple years ago I got a computer and knew that was the first thing I was going to go do is get on iRacing.
All right, of course. All right, well, good. And tell us about now. Like, how often are you racing, and what kind of series are you normally running, or what car?
I'd race anywhere to 1 to 4 or 5 times a week, depending how busy my week is. Typically, I run the C trucks in the official just because the race is every hour and it's convenient, but I like to run the A car when I have time to practice and get used to the car, but typically the C trucks just for convenience.
Right. Then you've been talking about running open NIS like maybe once a week, and we were talking about the schedule for that's going to be Wednesday night, Friday night, or Sunday morning, I believe it is.
Yeah, I'm going to commit to this year trying to run one fixed and one open every week throughout the NIS. So, yeah, it should be a fun year.
All right, very good. Tell us about any leagues you're involved in or anything like that.
I run in the Dynasty Racing League. They have a website, dynastyracingleague.com. Good group of guys. The admins, awesome. They run 3 different series, Cups, Xfinity, and the trucks, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesday nights. I run in the Xfinity in that one. But yeah, that's a fun league to be a part of. They keep it well organized. It's great.
You just had a really neat event in there you were telling us about. Tell us how that event finished out compared to where you started.
Oh yeah, they're running a winter series right now. I started in the back because I'm not running for points in that series. Didn't want to affect the championship, but just 2 races left. So I started 18th and just kind of let the race come to me and saved my tires. I climbed all the way up to 6th and short pitted. I ended up in 2nd place with a 1-lap shootout. And coming into 3, I was able to force the leader in deeper than he wanted to go. And coming out of 4, we were side by side coming across the finish, and he got me, but he only got me by 0.032 seconds. It was about 3 feet. It was made for a good picture. It was a fun race.
Wow. So position to win on the final lap, you're there. And photo finish at the end. Well, that's always fun to be a part of that. It kind of sucks to be in 2nd place instead of 1st, but at least you're there, you know. That's the first part, is get there every week, and then you're going to be a regular winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it's fun just to have a good, clean, competitive race, and even if you just shake out top 5, you know you had an opportunity. That's what makes this fun, you know.
And this is what I love about iRacing is I've been doing this for 6 years. I've been on this podcast gathering content for 6 years on doing this stuff. And yeah, I have never in my life heard of Dynasty Racing League until you came onto our team. And yeah, they have a great website. I checked it out. they got a roster, results, schedule, standing, the normal stuff.
Sorry,
Even
anybody was
forums.
watching. I'm just trying to get the script
But it
ready.
looks like a great racing league. But what's interesting is iRacing is so big and diverse that there's even stuff that I haven't heard of, and I'm still learning new stuff every day in iRacing.
Oh yeah, that league is recruiting, and they do broadcast every single race, and you can find them on YouTube at Dynasty Racing League. Everything's broadcast live.
Okay, cool. We always like to talk about other leagues. Let's talk about your setup though first. What kind of wheel and pedals are you using? Like how many monitors?
I just have the Logitech G29 setup with the wheel pedals and the shifter. Um, it works well for me. I like having the buttons on the steering wheel I can use. And I just adjust the brace force factor for each track inside the iRacing options to make the pedals run more comfortable per track. And it's mounted to a sim open wheeler. You can get it off Amazon. Just a comfortable racing, cheap racing rig, just to make iRacing a little more comfortable.
All right, and you're on one monitor, or
Nope, I started using a Rift about a year ago, and I love it. Made I was on one monitor before that, and the Rift just made. I think it probably improved me almost a tenth or two a lap at every track I go to. It's just so much more comfortable and realistic.
right, right. Well, very good. So you're the VR guy, all right. Third-party software. We know you have TeamSpeak. Do you have anything else?
I have Crew Chief. I run it occasionally. I'll run it on mainly on road courses because it gives really good updates, good for fuel calculation. On the oval side, I just run the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack. I just like that spotter pack because it's good about the still there message. I like to know consistently who's around me if I'm focusing on my marks in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. So I was looking at your stats, and pretty good on the oval. Your winning percentage overall 5.1%, which is that's higher than most.
Yeah, I don't feel like I win that often, but I guess what I've heard on the podcast that 2 and 3% is the average. So
It seems like it, after bringing people on and looking, but yeah, I mean that's a pretty good number, and pretty impressed with what I saw there for only being in this, in the sim for as short a time as you have since 2017.
yep, it's only been a little over a year and a half now. So yeah, I really enjoy it. It definitely fits what I like to do. It's incredibly realistic compared to some of the console things I've done in years past before I ever had a computer that could run it.
Yeah, and your top five percentage is very high as well. That's another thing that kind of jumped out at me. Like for example, we'll talk oval 2017, 2018, 2019. You went from 29%, 32%, and then 11% this year so far. But that's still really high for a top five.
Yeah, I think I'm probably not as aggressive as I should be. I tend to be that guy that lurks around and takes what we can get because I don't want to get too aggressive, ruin anyone's day. But that's one thing I want to work on getting being smart, but getting more aggressive. Maybe it'll turn into a couple more wins here and there.
Well, see, I mean, you taking the next step and joining the team and being in a team environment, that will help grow your driving. I mean, ask Chris. I mean, but
Absolutely. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to join a team and felt really comfortable joining your guys' team if I had the opportunity because I feel like I know you guys all a little bit from listening to the podcast for about 6, 8, 9 months now.
cool, cool. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. Let's finish up with a final question. What was your most memorable iRacing moment?
You know, we just talked about the race last night. That's definitely up there. I think probably my most memorable up there with that one would be in April. I ran a B fixed at Talladega in the Xfinity cars, and I love plate racing. So I think there was 3 laps to go on a restart. I was third, second car inside line. Got a good jump, and the second place car fell back, and I was able to, as they got a push, time it perfectly, pull up alongside, get that push out to the front, and was able to pull down in front of the leader on the last lap. coming out of 4 and then just hold off the 2 lines coming to the checker. That was fun. It's just the adrenaline from that plate stuff just really gets me going. I love it.
Heck yeah. That's what it's all about, man. All right, well, very good. Welcome. Let's jump into topics. But first, let's talk the OBRL, the Old Bastards Racing League. We actually sponsor them, iRacers Lounge, on their Monday night event. This Monday was New Smyrna Speedway, where John Held captured the pole and Jim Westerfield recorded the fastest lap of the race. David Stargens gained 23 spots for the most positions gained bonus. The race produced many close battles for position through the field with many position changes. Greg Hectus led 76 laps, going on to take the win. What? Greg, you win again. All right.
Yeah, it was a good race. I don't know about that track. That's the first time I've raced there, but that's a really interesting track for those cars because it's not really a complete short track, but the cars drive really well there. I don't know what Tony and Chris think about it, but I really enjoyed that racetrack. The racing was probably the best it's been in a couple weeks here, and it was just a good race. I had a good battle with for the top spot for most of the race, and then pit strategy looked like it was gonna, ruin the win. And with just having the wrong pit call and a caution came out late, and yeah, kind of got it there. It was the problem was is that caution was on me, so I probably didn't deserve that win.
Really? So you win, but you don't deserve it?
Yeah, I really don't actually deserve that win,
So,
but
so the caution was what? You just were too much aggressive or what?
no, I was coming back to the field. I probably would have got a top 5, but I came up on a car pretty quickly, and I missed his braking spot coming in the corner, and I saw it at the last second, and I slammed on the brakes and slid it sideways to avoid him, and it brought the caution out, which brought the whole field back together.
Oh. Yeah, you're
So
saying if it would have been green,
it would have been a top 5 if that.
All right, that's your third win of the season. John Held finished second, Chris Monroe third, Kevin Rupert fourth. And then Iowa next week, and you're thinking points, right?
Well, and I know Tony had a really good finish in the race, and he's pretty stoked about his stuff. I don't. Tony, where did you end up finishing again?
7?
6. I finished
6.
out 6, I believe it was. Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
round.
I was pretty stoked. I was like, Greg, I just bought the track to be able to race this week. I wasn't. I had like zero confidence after Sunday night. I just was having a hard time trying to find any kind of speed. Um, and Monday, I was just able to keep my nose clean for the most part, and that kept me up in the forward section of the field, anyhow. And a lot of Greg was right. As the best racing we've seen. I would have to say almost all season.
Tony,
Guys,
do you
a lot
remember
of
who
give and take.
the admins were? Like I was
Uh,
trying to. I think it was Ragin was doing one of it, wasn't he? And then I can't remember the other guy's name that was doing the live adminning.
Yeah, but it was clean compared to some of the other races we were having, right?
oh, extremely clean. Yeah, I saw a lot of give and take out there, which was real nice, and that was definitely a big thing lacking in the first part of the season, anyhow. So that's gotten a lot better. Um, a lot of side by side. I was doing a lot of side by side racing, and being bottom split NIS, it's really hard to do a lot of that without getting wrecked. And these guys, when they're on their game, like they were Monday, and it is just so much fun, and it just does nothing for guys like me, trying to become a better racer. It's great, and yeah, that was probably my best race of the season so far.
The Old Bastards Racing League has taken a really good step in having live admins in the room, and I think down the road it's going to actually help them out a lot better because I think the live admins and the way that they were the first 2 cautions, they really dictated the penalties properly to the guys, and after they got through those first quick 2 cautions, I think it was, and that was it. And then I think it was a third caution that was me. So they basically, we raced most of the race under green.
Yeah, last night when we ran the trucks, it was a very clean race. And they were doing we may or may not have admins watching things. So, but it worked, and yeah, I've had a really good time running with them. So, but yeah, good luck on the points, Greg. I think you're in a good spot, at least in the lead.
Yeah, I'm 44 up on the next guy.
All right, very good. So let's now go to topics. Mason, iRacing not top five.
Yeah, we had our January highlights for the not top five put together by iRacing.
Sorry for the video.
The
There we
Roval
go.
made an appearance with the Turtles again. The Daytona 24 made an appearance with some wrecks by the GTEs, some Rallycross, and you'll have to watch the video though to check out number 2 that made it on there because you'll have experienced that one before. So a little teaser there for you.
Yeah, pretty neat video. This is kind of a funny video, is the way I was smiling, I was kind of laughing and chuckling at what I was seeing. It's much different than the regular top 10, which is like intense racing, side by side, But this is more comical, and it was kind of a different style for sure. Very much enjoyed it. The rally one was pretty funny. And then the Matt Malone, who's the famous streamer guy, he was on the Roval and he's just flying along, and there's a car disabled. He hears it on the spotter, but he just keeps on racing. And the spotter just keeps going, but and then he goes over this blind corner and boom, there's the car, and he just totally T-bones it. And it was kind of a funny moment.
Oh yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, iRacing's doing really good on those. All right, Greg, should we get rain in the sim?
I saw this. We saw this coming as soon as we watched that 24-hour race. That we knew that this was going to be a topic for discussion, and I'm pretty glad, just to see some of the posts about it. I was just trying to see who originated here. Is it Tony Rick? No, that's not the one who originated. But anyways, they're talking about the evolution of iRacing and should we have rain and weather in the sim? And I don't know. Our discussion on our messenger was pretty good about it. That it would. Sometimes we feel like we already have weather with everybody losing control. But what do you guys think about weather coming to iRacing?
Yeah, I think they need it, but I don't think it's a high priority.
I don't need any help spinning out.
The thing is if you watch the Rolex, even the high, drivers that are professionally trained, they couldn't even keep the cars on the track because it was so bad at that track. I mean, obviously that was excessive rain, but it looks like it's really challenging out there.
I'd be a fan of seeing it just for the realism. Anything that adds realism to the sim, I'd be a fan of seeing as long as it's done right,
And it can't be every time. Every year there's rain. No, it needs to be, like it is in real life. It needs to be sporadic enough where it's not a normal thing, but it can happen.
I think the other thing, if you look at some of the people talking here, it's a good evolution thing to have for the sim. That obviously is something need to drive, more participation. But when they bring out AI, and if you have weather and these changing conditions, you can create your own race the way you want to. It's kind of like, some people like doing those console stuff where you can, or other PC stuff where you can create your own scenario and race in it. So I think that's where people are really wanting it for that, not just saying, okay, I think I saw someone make a joke about, okay, they want to see the rain on the NASCAR side, so you can just sit on pit road for 2 hours.
Funny.
Even if they did have rain, I think I'd have to have it turned off without a better video card. That's a lot of particles.
Yeah, all those
I don't
things
think I
being
can run
drawn.
it. Yep.
And then a wiper or something, or tear off some more and stuff like that on your screen.
All right. Yeah, I think eventually it's a good idea, but I don't know if we're in a hurry for it. All right, Chris, what's next? Web patch and release notes.
Yeah, we had a few updates this week. Looks like the one today is already over. That was just for the beta interface. But I don't have any patch notes for any of these updates except for looks like the one on the 31st and I'm sorry, the 24th, and even that one, I'm not seeing anything other than just some buggy bugs. I didn't really see anything big this week. Really worth mentioning, unless I was just missing something.
Yeah, they're putting their bubble gum on the holes of the submarine that's leaking water. That's called the UI beta. But yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to patch it up, but it's a mess. Yeah, so they did that, and there was a proper release, but Mason and I could not find release notes, and I don't think they actually did put out release notes.
Yeah, I'd like to see what they did today. I think, yeah, the other two are probably just some pretty small little bug fixes, but I'd be curious to know what they did to the beta UI today. I mean, get out back and shoot it and start over.
All right, and then my turn, updated forums. Alexander Horn said, new forums are coming that will be accessible from the new UI and on mobile. In their current state, the new forums are 100 times better. We have just started testing all of the new features. So that's pretty cool, confirmed for the iPhone and the Android.
That'll come in real handy because, especially for some of the stuff that we check out all the time for the podcast.
Well, when you look at a forum page now on an iPhone, it's not pretty to read. It's really hard to read because you have to zoom in and scroll around, and I mean, it's just not mobile friendly at all.
No, it was nice to see an upgrade to the forums as well because it seems like right now they're a little hard to navigate and it's a little hard to search and find
Search
things.
is horrible.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely miserable.
You search something and you see something from 2012, at the top result. Stupid stuff like that. Okay, yeah, so new forums coming. Tony, Formula 3 lift kit.
Yeah, this was a pretty funny little post actually. Teddy Weichel, I'm gonna go with that name. He says he was involved in an incident and had a little damage. The car was drivable but had a meatball flag, went into pit, and the car was thrown around violently and subsequently destroyed. Is this a known issue? And he attached the replay. Thankfully, somebody cut to the part where he pulls into the pit. The car gets lifted up to change all the tires and stuff, and all of a sudden, maybe he pulled into the wrong pit stop, and they didn't like that because his car just starts bouncing around everywhere. And I think he ends up about halfway back towards the start of pit road. The car is just bouncing all over the place and into the wall, and
Bouncing Mexican jelly bean is the term I came up with. He's just bouncing around,
It looks like they named this wrong. It should be hydraulics. It looks like it's on hydraulics.
I'd be so pissed if this happened during a race.
Oh, no doubt. It happened during somebody's race. Oh, he said it was a practice. But what's interesting is, he just pulls in, they change the tires, and then the car just starts bouncing, man, and then it just destroys it.
Well, it was like while it was changing the tires, it fell off, like you could see the front end going off the jack.
Just kind of lifting up into the air. It kind of does look like, the lowriders that pull up to the stop sign and use their hydraulics and bounce their car around.
Someone said sweet hydros, bro.
Yeah, pretty cool. That was funny to see. I've never seen anything like that. All right, Mason, the IR or IndyCar Oval Fixed Season 2 schedule.
Yeah, Alexander Horn posted up that we're looking for input on the Oval Fixed IndyCar series for Season 2. A lot of the comments on here have been talking about dynamic weather being added to that, so it's something to take into account when you're thinking about your tracks. So, yeah, post your comments there and get your schedule picked.
Well, that's just one of all the cars. They're looking for input on all the schedules, so.
They've never run a fixed one because this kind of ties into the next topic as well. Because it looks like they're trying something different here with a fixed IndyCar. I don't believe they've run a fixed one. I could be wrong,
All right.
but.
So get into that, Greg.
So we're going to the next one here. So I guess it's a poll. always love polls. So should the in-car adjustments be allowed for the fixed racing? So yes or no on the poll. So it's yes for adjusting bars and wedge, please, or no for steering and gas brake bias stuff. So let's see what they put. I'll just put yes for right now. So it looks like yes is taking over on that right now, by 75% to 25%. But I don't know.
Well, it's
What
an
do you guys think
interesting
about it?
discussion.
But what do you guys think? I mean, it's a fixed series, and I think Mitchell DeJong kind of points it out properly here by saying, even hold on, sorry, even if there is wedge adjustment, it's a fixed series. You want everybody to be running this, you don't want to run fixed if the whole idea is to get the same car through the race, and if the setup sucks, you just deal with it, right? So it's, it to be the same in the NASCAR. I was talking about this when the season started. When the track changes temperature, would you make, you want to make adjustments if the car's changing, the track's changing, when we didn't have that before. So what do you guys think about adjustments in the fixed series?
No, I vote no. I
Yeah,
mean,
keep them out.
I'm the guy that this would affect because I don't do setup stuff. I just don't. I don't adjust brake bias during a race. If I had a weight jacker and adjustment bars, I wouldn't know what to do with them, and I don't, and I just don't do them. I'll be in the Indy 500, but I don't fool with that crap. But and I'm that guy. And so when you change this and say yes, and you add that to fixed races, now I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have buttons mapped and I'm not doing all that, and the other guys do, and they're having a better car because they're making adjustments to it. I don't think it's fair anymore. So that means it's not fixed to me. And it's 7 pages of discussion here about it. And yeah, there are some passionate people on both sides of it.
Fixed is fixed. Like that says it all to me. If you want to do that kind of stuff, go run open.
Exactly. There's a reason that we don't have it in the car now in a fixed race, and then why would we change that? Nothing's changed, and so yeah, leave it alone. Is what I say. All right, Tony, Mazda Hot Lap Challenge.
Yeah, so Logan Clampett wins the Mazda Hot Lap Challenge and earns himself a ride in a real Mazda MX-5 around Virginia International Raceway, and that will be in April.
Wow, that's a nice prize. And he also got to go up on the flag stand during the 24 hours too.
Oh, is that what that other part is? I suck at this one.
I was just looking at it. I remember seeing him on Twitter. He posted up a picture from him on the flag stand. And but yeah, he won this event, and then Mazda hooked him up, with good place to watch the race and all that.
Well, yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see that picture. I'm not even on Twitter, so no, that's awesome. So yeah, you get like super cool seats for the 24. You get to drive a real MX-5. That's a hell of a prize to win.
Yeah, teammate James O'Brien was at the 24, as well as Bobby Jonas, both from our team. James said he didn't do it, but he did do other booths that had Forza or GT. The booths that had iRacing were nicer, though. People from all ages were trying it out. Mazda was touting it as the best sim in the world. Michelin had no sort of advertising for it, but a guy asked me if I played at home. And so that was a report from James O'Brien, and Bobby Jonas was up, was working, so we didn't get much report from him about it. But
That's awesome. They had that stuff out there.
Yeah.
And more than just Mazda. So that was cool.
All right, Chris, another poll. Best VR headset.
Yeah, a poll posted by Jesus Zamora, asking just that: what is the best VR headset? And his choices that he posted were the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive Pro, the Samsung Odyssey Plus, and the Primax 5K. And it looks like the Oculus won, 49%. But I think another guy here on the Will Fisher, he said, I think people are voting for what they have rather than what is the best, which I
Right.
think is what
Yeah.
happened here.
Fanboy.
Yeah, but it's a good post. There's a couple pages of posts to read through, and there's some decent discussion in there on between the different headsets. I personally have only used the Rift, and coming from one monitor, I would definitely recommend getting a headset if you don't have a problem with the motion stuff. But I don't know that the Rift is the one that anybody would still want these days if nothing else, money wasn't an option. I think Odyssey Plus probably has the best screen from looks like what Mason's research
Or
shows
the
here.
Pimax.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Primax with a field of view a 200. I think it has a 5K screen, 4 or 5K screen if I'm not mistaken. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there's a lot of options out there right now. I think with the Rift, you're still pretty safe, and the Rift, the Samsung, those things are pretty safe on a iRacing side. I haven't really looked into a lot of these to find out how well iRacing is supporting them, but I don't know that I've seen many complaints from any of these headsets.
So what's interesting to me is the HTC Vive is the lowest rated one on the poll, and that's probably right. That's not going to be the one to get, the HTC Vive. So just cut that off the list. So now you're down to the Rift, the Odyssey Plus, or the Pimax. But what's left off this list is that new Lenovo that Justin Laird got. That's only $100. And really, I think that's the answer to this poll. What the best VR headset is? I think it's Lenovo based on the price and the functionality you're getting for that price. That headset figuratively is as good as the Rift or better, and it's only $100.
Yeah, I think you're only losing a little bit of resolution with that one. So that's definitely the way I'd go if I was getting one now. I'd probably
Yeah,
get
that's what I
that
would
for
do.
$100. Yeah, and then
Just to
keep
try
that
it.
for yeah. And then in a year or two, when some of these 5K headsets, maybe a wireless headset, we could get something newer later down the line. But I'm not spending $1,000 or more on some of these others when you can pick up that one for $100.
One that's not on the list is that Star VR headset. If you got
Yeah.
$3,200 laying around and two 1080 Ti's in your computer, maybe you could run it. But
Yeah.
at least it's exciting to see where the future of VR is going. Because I run the Rift and love it, but I can't wait to see what we'll be able to run in 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, we talked about those really nice ones last week, I think, or the week before, and there are other ones out there, but these are the ones that are people actually are using and whatnot are fairly popular.
It seems like every other week now we're seeing a different one pop up. It's good to see that it looks like VR is going to be here to stay. I think that's good for sim racing because they're definitely good for that.
I just can't wait till VRs with peripheral are just standard and affordable. I wish I had more peripheral with the Rift.
Right. Well, Facebook, killed off the Rift or tried to, so I don't know what's going to happen with Rift. I think they're going to be left in the dust if they can't get a new version out. Well, let's keep going. I think this might be the big topic of the week. Eric Kudek from the iRacing staff posted up the in reference to the A car, new rules package is in testing now, referring to the 2019 rules package that NASCAR is adopting. It'll be ready for the March build, or it should be ready for the March build, he said. So that's big, guys. I don't remember a time I've been in iRacing where a rule change came through with NASCAR and we got it in the March build. Normally we got it in the June build or even later in the year, like August and stuff like that is what I remember last time.
Do we know how they're going to implement this with the current cars we have with the aero ducts and everything? Is there anything commented on that?
There's no other comment besides what I read. So we don't have any details. And we were talking about this. Somebody on the team and I were about graphically. What do they have to change? I mean, if they're going to change anything graphically, because the splitter on the back of that car is like 3 or 4 inches taller.
Well, go ahead, Mason.
Well, and then thinking about that as well, the front end, are you going to change the Fusion, or are you just going to put the Mustang out at the same time?
The thing that I see on it is, Bobby and was talking about this too, is we already have different versions of, even if you look at when you're painting the Cup car, you got there's a super speedway extensions that go on the car that you got to paint extra that are only on there when the super speedway tracks are on. The Indy car has different configurations for different tracks for road and oval, and then the Indy 500. So all they have to do is they're going to probably have to change the templates, and they're also going to have to change just the way the car, it's just going to be a graphical image probably that's going to change. It's going to have ducts that are in different places at different, for different tracks, and all it's going to be is you're just going to see it, and then you'll only notice it when it changes for each track. You won't notice the difference. You're only going to notice the difference if you compare it like a screenshot from your Daytona car to your, another car. That's the only time you're really going to notice it, because they're going to look the same in the room, right? So I don't know.
They could do the, what I'm saying is they could do the change and not do any graphical changes, and nobody's even going to realize it. You know what I mean? They don't have to change the graphics. They could just lower the horsepower and put the stupid restrictor plate on it or whatever they're doing.
They could do that too. Like, we don't even know if they're going to do it.
The one takeaway I get from this is, do you think that NASCAR is way more heavily involved in iRacing now, with the new
series director?
Yeah, that stuff, and this, because iRacing doesn't move as fast.
No way. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
This definitely has NASCAR's fingerprints all over it, doesn't it?
That's what I think. I kind of got that takeaway from a former teammate, and yeah, that's iRacing. I mean, this wouldn't be there until next year unless NASCAR was saying you guys need to make your racing like our racing.
Well, I wonder how much this also drive. Will they drive getting that Mustang scanned as quickly as possible too, so it looks, because now they're gonna promote that Peak Series. Well, you got Penske in there, and you got other companies in there that are actually the Ford Mustang. They're gonna want that in there. So you're gonna want that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Will the Mustang come quick as well? I don't think they're tied together, as Mason was asking, is the 2019 rules package and the Mustang. I think they'll be separate from each other, but to Greg's point, they'll probably come out quick because NASCAR is probably pushing it.
Yeah, I just hope NASCAR doesn't push too fast and they start putting out stuff that's not complete.
Well, NASCAR had their test today. I watched it from Vegas with about half the cars doing practice, and it was very encouraging what I saw, but some of the bad side of it was they were seconds slower than the B car, the Xfinity car. You can't have the Cup cars slower than the Xfinity, can we? I mean, that's going to be weird.
They shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Why would you, what's the point in having the Xfinity series if that Cup car is slower?
Right, and so to my point is that just happened literally 3 hours ago from this recording. And so NASCAR, what are they going to do about it? They're going to change the 2019 rules package probably. So that's not the case where they're, slower than the Xfinity. And so with changes coming, is it too soon for iRacing to adopt that? That's usually the reason is, NASCAR really doesn't have a lot of test time with this package. And so are they going to tweak it? Probably, because of these speed differences. And, how's that going to affect what iRacing's working on, Pretty cool. I think it's cool that it's coming quick. I don't know if I'm excited for it or not. I'm still on the fence.
It's funny how we've named this as a hashtag too soon when we normally say hashtag soon.
Yeah, hashtag too soon for this. Well, yeah, because Daytona doesn't count, Atlanta doesn't count because of the surface, so they're not going to get good read on the package there. and then Vegas will be the third race, and that'll be when we really know if how this package will be run. When there's 40 cars on the track, and how will it work out?
Are they doing the package for Atlanta?
Yeah, but the drivers, from what I've heard on some podcasts and stuff, they don't think it's going to change the racing much. The package will, because of the tire fall off.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's a pretty abrasive track.
Right. All right, Mason, Peak Setup Guys Forum.
Yeah, so this might be expired, I guess, in a couple of weeks here, but there is a forum thread that we talked about last week that I just want to mention again because it's been updated since then. It's the Peak Setup Guys Forum. It was created by Jason Sealer, and people like Brandon Hastings and Christian Schauner were on there talking setups and answering any questions you have. So the NIS season's coming up. Get your setup tips and make some stable setups with the current rules package that we have.
And if you really want to know how little you know about setups, you go read this thread.
Yeah.
Because it's like right over my head. I have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's lots of good stuff, though.
Yeah, if you want to learn, this is gold. Absolute gold to read this stuff. So you search the word Peak Setup Guys. That's the name of the thread. All right, Chris, when you don't feed your pit crew.
Yeah, next is a quick 7-second YouTube video posted by NASCAR Painter. And it looks like he was in a truck race, and the guy in front of him pits, and when his tire changers are running from the right side to the left side of the car, they transform from regular crew members into these Slenderman / wavy two-arm guys and stretch out all across the screen. It actually kind of startled me.
Wacky inflatable arm tube guy. Wacky inflatable there.
Yeah, check this out and yeah, give him a couple of thumbs up. I think he's only got 80 views and a couple of likes, and yeah, this little quick 7-second video is pretty funny. NASCAR Painter on YouTube.
Isn't there like a movie, something about Nightmare, and it has a character that kind of looks like this? And
Christmas /
Before
Halloween.
Christmas.
Yes.
yeah, so
Jack
imagine
Skellington.
that, and so the tire changers, yeah, they just kind of warp into these stretch guys that are like 12 feet tall, and their arms are all tweaked out and their fingers stretching out 3 feet each, and yeah, it looks very odd.
Yeah, in VR, if I was pitting behind that guy, that honestly probably would have made me crap myself if I saw those things coming at me.
Now, I did ask, because you might say, well, how did he get the video of the pit crew in front of him? Because you can't see other people's pit crews. And I actually asked the question in the Facebook thread on this, and I was answered that his car is the one that's being pitted, but when he did the replay, he got in the car that's sitting in the pit box behind and filmed it from there. So you could see it like from behind.
Yeah, he just moved the camera into the car.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, like I said, every day I see something new, and boy, you see this, and you're like, whoa, that is odd. All right, Greg, Pro 4 truck.
All right, so James Vinning, he's obviously a huge truck racing fan here with the off-road trucks. So he was asking the question if they were going to, since they're doing the Pro 2 truck, has been confirmed. He was asking if they were working on a Pro 4 truck. I guess, and then Tony Gardner had chimed in that they are working on a Pro 4 truck as well. Now the difference, I guess most of you can probably figure out what the difference between a Pro 2 truck and a Pro 4 truck is, and usually it's 2-wheel drive is for the 2 truck and the 4-wheel drive for the 4 truck, but then there's some other minor differences, in the different categories. So it'd be interesting to see once these series come out, because those trucks are fun to watch. Have you guys ever watched the Lucas Oil trucks?
Yeah, that's going to be fun to drive.
Yeah, Mike, you'll probably take like a duck to water with these things. I mean, you do pretty good with the GRX stuff. I do not, but I will learn because these things look fun as hell.
Yeah. It's a step up from rally. It certainly is. The rallycross is fun, but boy, this is going to be a lot more funner because of the horsepower, you know?
I've been to one of these races. We have a track, Crandon Raceway, near us, and man, it is wild. The horsepower is crazy. Actually, one of the drivers in the series owns a logging company in the same industry in the same area. That's a professional driver. So yeah, this is pretty exciting to see coming. I've seen these for years around here.
If you scroll on down that Lucas Oil page, I want to get one of those pro buggies here.
That probably
Yeah, I
won't
saw
be
that.
far off. Some of these will probably be things that'll be added in the future.
Yeah, we need more indoor courses for these things because most of these truck races, the one I've seen anyway, was with Lucas Oil and inside, and that sound, just kind of what like Josh said, it sounds a lot different. So man, that would be really cool to get a few more of those indoor venues like the Chili Bowl and run these trucks on them.
The other thing that's interesting about these is, they don't, they can make up the tracks on stuff we already have existing like they've done with the rallycross. So I think that's what they just need to start using their imagination and start making up some of these tracks.
Yeah, and there are purpose-built tracks too that are coming that'll be part of the package, and I bet you we'll get this year, probably this summer would be my guess. All right, next up, Kyle Larson and Christopher Bell sat down and put out a video, basically just them sitting next to each other, asking each other some questions and stuff. They talked about their start in racing and how they got involved in dirt and their rivalry. They talked about iRacing. They talked about iRacing for several minutes, about how they use it on a regular basis to practice for upcoming tracks. All kinds of stuff. What did you guys think? I found it pretty fascinating to watch, and it was several minutes long as well.
I really like this this conversation. We got to kind of be a fly on the wall, and that's how it felt to me. It was very, very casual, and it was just like two buddies sitting around, shooting the shit about things they like to do. And I found that probably about the most appealing part of it, second to the topics that they were talking about. It's really good stuff that they were talking about. Kept the interest up.
Yeah, and they both talked about how they got involved in the development of dirt on iRacing. And Kyle was saying, how during the week he would get on once or twice and try out the updates that they were doing. And he was saying, like, each week it would get better and better and better. And you'd give feedback, and you could see the next week that feedback, is taking effect. And then Christopher Bell also talking about the development of dirt, saying, you want to make it right. You want to, because all these people are going to be on it, and they'll know you've been involved in the development of it. So you really focus on getting that feedback right, so it's not too, unrealistic. You want it to be realistic.
And I thought it was cool that Bell kind of idolized Larson a little bit, it seemed, when he was growing up.
Right. And the funny thing is, they're not far off in age to be, idolizing. You'd think there'd be a big gap, but it's kind of just, these two guys are like the future of the sport.
Yeah, they got a neat rivalry going. Mason, you had a question about the midget car in his dining room. Yeah, I've seen it, pictures of it. He definitely has, instead of a dining room table, he's got a midget car. And yes, he's getting married, and yes, his fiance is okay with that.
He was saying that she took it apart and put it in there.
Yeah, she helped put it in there. Yeah. I read that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Better put a ring on it then.
All right, Tony, OMG, servers are down. Panic.
Yeah, Panic is right. I think we may almost, if not all of us, were hit by this one Monday. For anybody that was trying to race anyways, couldn't get into anything. I know it messed up the old bastards ARCA race on Monday. We had to postpone that till Tuesday.
And they were going to cancel it.
Well, you guys get so cranky because you're old bastards.
That's right. That's right. We kick and stomp our feet until we get what we need. Yeah, it looked like it sounded to me like it was from the switchover. Something had messed up.
The weekly switch from the schedule.
Yeah, Nicholas Bailey came onto the forums and somebody had asked if there's like a server monitoring thing to alert staff that something would happen, because a lot of them were unaware that anything was going on. And Nicholas Bailey says not quite like that. Said the scheduler is looping, and that specific case is not caught by existing monitoring. They'll get that fixed in the future. So if something like this were to happen again, it would show up on the radar a little more quickly. But it looked like that bug took quite a while to fix. From what I can tell, it wasn't fixed until early Tuesday.
All Monday night, I think. Facebook was blowing up. I was at work, and I was seeing all these posts on Facebook about, iRacing's down, and yeah, it seemed to be for quite a while.
The thing I noticed is that the amount of people that don't look at other people's posts, there's 5 or 6 pages that got made pretty quickly about the same problem. Just one after another. They're all in the general topics right at the top.
Yep, and then there was part 2, Tony.
Yeah, now I was kind of reading that, and they said they were having it's a known issue with the Internet Explorer Edge browsers that have been reported, and they're being looked into. As in the meantime, please use Chrome, Firefox, or the beta UI if you dare.
I like the comment laid down further.
Yeah, I didn't read all that far down. I didn't really understand.
Well, look,
who uses Edge?
Well, that's what I was going to say. If you're using Edge, you got bigger problems.
I mean,
I have the podcast open in Edge.
Come on, get a real browser.
I have 4 browsers running.
Internet Explorer worked well in like the frickin' 90s.
You know, you can just make a new window, Greg.
I was just kidding.
It seems the issue was you couldn't join sessions in Edge if you're going from the website.
Okay, well, anyhow, apparently the fix is in for Internet Explorer, so all of you guys still stuck in the bloody 90s, you're good to go.
Yeah. That was kind of a funny one, because I can't imagine people are still using Internet Explorer and Edge, but I guess people do. All right, Greg, the iRacing Top 10. This is the real one.
All right, so this is, it's a quick one that's put out every month. We spend time on it. Anybody that wants to go see it, it's on the iRacers.com Facebook page. They had the top 10 for this month, for the month of January. And there's pretty good videos for it. There's a lot of it looks like the theme this month was a lot of close finishes again. Like that's what they're showing. It started off with a guy avoiding 3 wrecks and then taking a win on a side-by-side battle. So it was a pretty good showing. So what did you guys think of the top 10?
Yeah, 4 wide for the win. I mean, there's all the side-by-side good stuff. And then there was one that was towards the end that was a 24-hour race, and the battle for 4th and 5th place came down to a photo finish after 24 hours.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the coolest one on the list for me. I mean, that's crazy.
And it was a normally good video as usual. Okay, next up I'll take is Marco Andretti testing the Coda and Laguna Seca on a snow day. As we alluded to, there's been a lot of snow, and he went and borrowed his friend Sage Karam's rig, apparently, and Sage was putting up on Facebook and Twitter pictures of Marco making laps, and so now Marco Andretti is on iRacing. Now, is he using Sage's account or what? I don't know, but he's using his rig. So even IndyCars use it. IndyCar drivers.
You can't even tell if he's using his account because he's got the wrong browsers open or the things on the screen open to see if it is.
He's on lap timing, and yeah, you can't see the name. All right, Mason, Pro Series replays.
Yeah, Drew Adamson's calling up for any 2019 NASCAR Pro Series replays in full. Just for, I'm assuming they're going to make a video, so send them to drew.adamson@iracing.com.
So that's the Pro Series that just finished that brought 20 guys into the peak, and that wasn't broadcasted, and I guess they want to do something with it now after the fact. All right, I got the next one. Let's talk peak. They're having their series draft. Okay, so the truth is they actually already had it. They had it yesterday. And the results are top secret, obviously. There's been radio silence on the results. Nothing. Nobody has spoken a peep. And I'm sure there's a lot of they do the actual draft on Wednesday. They're going to publish the results on Friday on Facebook Live, I think at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then they're going to post it to YouTube after the fact as well. But they're going to have a video of some kind that will announce the results of the draft. So why do they need 2 days before they announce? Probably to do this kind of paperwork, non-disclosure. They got to sign these guys up to the teams, and that's my guess. But I have no idea why there's a delay. We kind of thought that when they had the draft on Wednesday that we would actually hear the results live or, maybe shortly after, but no, we have to wait 2 days, so it's kind of weird.
They were teasing like crazy over Twitter and all that, like really teasing people.
It really feels like they should have done this live, keep promoting the series to get bigger and bigger. I mean, this is the elite series that NASCAR and iRacing are hooked up together. I would have definitely watched it live. I think they could have promoted it better.
Right. Now, 12 teams took 2 drivers each, so only 24 of the 40 are drafted. They did put out a nice PDF that is a slideshow with the pictures, stats, and interesting facts of each of the 40 drivers. What we talked about was their face. You could actually see a picture of the driver, and this is the first time that I've actually seen a lot of these people's faces. And so it was interesting to place a face with a name, so to speak. And Mason, I think you and I were talking about that. What were some of the surprises?
Christian Challoner having a full mane of hair.
Oh, yeah, he's got a huge hair going on. That was interesting.
I was just scrolling through them.
Malik Ray he looks just like he sounds. I'll say it like that.
Yeah, just scrolling through them. It looks like a lot of young guys.
Yeah.
The average age is lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think my initial reaction was nerd report, a bunch of nerds.
Well, thanks, Mike. Now we're not going to get him on here now because of that.
Well, I'm just kidding and all, but it is interesting to see pictures. I think that's a great thing that they put together right before the draft, probably for the teams so they can make a choice. They have something to look at, That would be my guess. So it'll be broadcast Friday at 3 p.m. Chris Overland, he ran a 40-yard dash to improve his draft stock. And so right before the draft, he was trying to get some noise on Twitter. And so he put up a little video about it, trying to, gain some attention, I guess. And then high-performance motorsports driver Nicholas Morris created a mock draft, and he put it on SoundCloud as kind of like a podcast kind of thing. Him and another guy. I did actually listen to it. It's about 24 minutes long. They go through all of what they think the 24 team or 24 drivers would be picked. and who would pick who, what team would get what driver, and basically just kind of went in order of seeding of how the draft might go. And obviously they picked Ray Alfala as the first guy, and I think Ryan Michael Luza was second, and then I think it was Michael Conti, and so on.
Yeah, boy, if you're the Wood brothers, I mean, you'd be stupid not to pick Ray.
Well, I wonder how it works with the teams and who gets first choice and all that. I mean, I have no idea.
That first link there has the draft order in it. And Wood brothers is first.
Oh, they are? Okay.
My question is, okay, a lot of these guys have, some of these guys have been running, certain brands on the cars since the start. Like, say, Ray Afalo, I think, has been at a Ford since he started on here. When they started having different things. What if he got drafted by JR Motorsports, Junior Motorsports, and he has to do it? And obviously he'd switch because he's obviously going to do it. But there's different things like that go into it.
Sponsorship.
I saw somewhere it said that all sponsorships are null and void, but I don't know if that was a reliable source or not.
Yeah, the sponsorship I think is a big thing. Like if these people have existing sponsorship, and that they've already cut a deal that had a sponsor on the logo on a car, and now they're in a Woods Brothers car instead. What happens, to that original sponsorship? So that's still an open question.
Not gonna be putting that on. That's too loud.
So then it happened. They finished. Michael Conti was tweeting about his excitement about the draft, and then Junior Motorsports and Wood Brothers actually tweeted out pictures of their paint schemes as well, and kind of we also got paint schemes from all the some of the other teams as well. Flipside Tactics, Renegade, and Williams F1 as well.
So that's what I'm saying. If they got to run these paint schemes, what does that do for these guys' previous sponsors?
Yeah, they're SOL or I don't know. Yeah, that's an ongoing question in the forums that nobody seems to know.
I like that Williams one.
I like that Flipside number 63. That's a sweet looking paint scheme.
And then Wood Brothers took it one step further. They put up a picture of their newest employee. Did you see that?
Yes.
And so what that is it's a picture of the guy holding the pit sign, and they kind of photoshopped a big old beard onto the guy. And it's kind of funny.
And they said it's also not netcode that his left foot is off the ground. He's just lopsided naturally.
Is there a reason they put a beard on him?
It's just a joke, I guess.
Was there one of those drivers that had a big beard?
I don't think so. I don't think they're referring to a driver.
Bobby Zelensky did.
Keep that in mind just in case.
Yeah, we'll have to see who they pick, huh?
I don't think he'll fall to 24th because that's their second pick.
I was going to say, yeah.
Anyway.
All right, well, this is good. This is a big step, guys. Teams involved in Peak, and we'll find out tomorrow, I guess, what the results are. Those 40 guys on Peak, I commend them for keeping their mouths shut over these 48 hours. I'm sure it's hard, and they know the results, obviously.
There's got to be more on the line than just the $100,000 then too, with the sponsorships.
Yeah, they are going to pay extra to these guys that are going to be in the teams.
Yeah, I believe it was 500.
Cool.
Okay, let's keep going. Tony, pesky throttle bug.
Yeah, Adam Crane posted up an issue that he was having, and it was in Daytona IMSA. He was in a practice session, and he said he'd have full throttle, but his engine power would intermittently decrease. And he said at some point, once the throttle is released with no inputs, the rear of the car would just spin, almost like the differential becomes suddenly locked. And a few people posted up different things like, oh, it could be this or it could be that. But David Tucker said, that is really odd. It's not the pedals. They're working properly. So he said he'd pass it along to the engineers and see what they say. So far, there's not really much. Eric Hudak come back on and said he went through the replays and he didn't seem to see anything obvious that would contribute to the issues. He said may delete the car's directory and re-download that. It didn't say that it actually
Yeah, I don't think
worked.
they got it fixed. Yeah.
No, because he came back to say that he had the same issue with the Corvette DP and the Mercedes GT3.
Sounds like he's got a buggy pedal that's not
Pedals.
showing.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind of
the
hard to
replays-
detect.
But he posted replays, and the replays show graphically that the throttle is wide open, and so
But is
that's
it
why
wide
they're saying
open?
it's not the pedals.
Well, sometimes, it's weird.
Yeah, very odd one. I don't. So we'll have to see where that gun goes. I don't have that problem. So, okay, Chris, what should we race?
Yeah, next we have a forum post from Linus A from Scandinavia. And he's made a nice little app that you can get to at www.iracingstats.com. It just kind of shows you which series is the most popular on iRacing. And the cool thing about this is how simple it is. I mean, he just basically has most popular road, most popular oval, and dirt. And I think other than dirt, that's sectioned off by a couple of other sections. I mean, that's pretty much it. And you just get the drivers per race and the starts. And it's done completely by season. So it's a real nice,
Current
quick, easy.
season.
Yeah, exactly. It's a really good, quick way to find out what guys are racing this season. Most of it's not surprising as far as if it's the series you're familiar with. But where this would be perfect is if you're looking between a couple of different cars. I know for me, not too long ago, I was looking at working on road, and when not driving the road, I had no idea which car I should buy because I didn't want to buy something that I couldn't race because the races weren't being kicked off.
Right.
And
You wouldn't
this
want
is
to buy
perfect
one
for
on the
that.
bottom of the list here.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a great, easy tool just to see what people are running. And it's www.iracingstats.com.
So if you're looking at it here, so it shows the stats of drivers per race / how many people have started that week. So like the Global Mazda Cup has had 88 drivers per race / with over 6,000 people have raced that week.
Huh.
This is season.
Oh, it's season. Sorry, my
Yeah,
bad.
season one.
Season.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, what's other is interesting, the oval side, the Class B fixed is the most popular, and then pickup cup, and then the street stock, and then the Indy car, and the A car is way down the list. I'm kind of surprised by that, but it is off season.
The A car is still not even popular, even when NIS. NIS is the only one that's popular with the A car. There's not very many participation with the A car. Just to maybe just do setups before the NIS races. That's probably the only time it gets participation in NIS season.
Right.
I really expected the C fix to be at the top of the list because it seems like when I race, that's the lobby that's always the most full, the most splits.
Yeah, with you, I hardly ever see. It doesn't seem like I see that many people in the B races, but I guess maybe it's because those C races, those C fix run every hour, and the Bs are every 2 hours. So that's, I guess, when you're doing it this way, you'll have more drivers. Whatever, you see them. It's math.
I'm kind of surprised Pickup Cup is so high on the list compared to Dallara Dash and Carburetor Cup. Those three are kind of similar unofficial races, but Pickup Cup is 3-4 times the participation the others are.
That Carb Cup is those 10 people that go in it on average are probably the same 10 people every time.
Okay, let's keep moving. Active members, Greg.
All right, so just bring it up here. Tyler Hudson was just talking about the active membership. So he was talking about, I haven't, who posted this thread first? I was just trying to see here. I just got
Thread's
Tyler.
about something different, but
Okay, so Tyler has posted in it some numbers on what we got here, active numbers wise. And sorry, I lost part of the page here. I'm just bringing it back up. So he hasn't read through much of the script, but the membership does continue to grow. 2 years ago, when I first started working for iRacing, the membership was roughly around 55,000. So that's Tyler saying that. Currently, we're at about almost 81,000 active members. In the gaming world, still a lot to be gained, but is definitely growing. I think back to those days in 2008 when I first signed up, and that was like trying to get into an official race. So that's a really good number to start. You're starting going up.
That's 32% higher in
Yep.
2 years, and that's a huge gain.
And that's active members too. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
All right, next, beta UI, hashtag very soon again. Okay, I'll take this one. Finally, we get a staff response about beta. Okay, we've gone for several weeks in a row in the forums with the pitchforks and everybody getting rallied up about the beta UI without any response from the staff. And then we finally got some this week. It says, also, we are working on a plan to completely revamp performance. We are not ready to announce anything yet, but it will be very soon. Another tidbit says, we are aware of how it works with Project Cars, referring to the VR solution where you don't have to have the VR on to be in the UI. You can be on your monitor and then you can push a button and put on your VR. That's what he's referring to with Project Cars. We are aware of that and working on a solution for iRacing. If we worked on this VR request issue first, we would not have the time of day right now. And what he's referring to there is they just made it a lower priority to fix this beta UI performance stuff and the VR issues. He also went on to say, I'm saying it is mainly a graphical engineering project for us currently. Now, by pulling an engineer off to do this, we'll be delaying HDR and things like that. This is why these decisions are not easy, because the right answer depends on your perspective. If you don't use VR, you don't care. However, there is another possible solution that we are exploring, which is a web-based but a much bigger decision overall. But if we go down that path, it could be solved by web engineers and not as much by system architects or graphical engineers.
Sounds
Yes,
like
do that.
stretch kind of thin.
Well, what I like about what he said there is hey, there's another possible solution we are exploring, which is web-based. Wow,
Yeah.
That's what I want, right? That's what we want.
Yeah, just do that. Forget this other stuff. Because, well, even if they fix the VR problem, you're still going to have the annoying thing, unless they change this as well. Like you said, Mike, where you start up the beta UI and it's basically starting up the sim, and you have all your video card and all this other crap running when maybe you're just sitting there for the next hour waiting for a race to start.
Anytime iRacing brings up the beta UI, my brain is just pre-programmed to tune right out. That's how much I dislike it.
Reading that last part there, it sounds like they're basing their projects on the people they have and not the way they want to go down. Because if you see it, it sounds like they don't need the architecture or graphical engineer. It sounds like they have those, and that's why they're doing this, because they have those type of people instead of having the people to do something another way.
I wonder what the big decision is, because would that be platform related? Because if they wanted to go with Xbox, PS4, or whatever, they couldn't really do the web-based as much.
That's what I'm wondering too. Is the way that they're going with this to make it a something that a shelf product.
Who knows? Let's keep moving. Mason, artificial intelligence coming to you sooner.
Yeah, so there's a forum post here, AI Q&A by Nick Neben. He had a bunch of questions, and Alexander Horn hopped on the horn to answer them. So one of the big questions is, are they going to be developed to run a line with a secondary option like on the dirt? Whenever the line gets worn in, are they going to move around to find it? And said that the plan is that the lines will vary with the conditions. Also talking about max car counts. Are you going to be able to have more than six different types of cars now? No. It's going to be the same that apply unless you have a computer that can actually handle a gajillion cars on the track at once. What's the difference of strain? Not everything's done on your PC, but it's hard to quantify what impact it'll have. So wait and see on that one. And pitting, are the AIs going to have intelligence to pit whenever it's most strategic, or are they just going to pit whenever they run out of fuel? And the answer to that one is there is going to be some intelligence built in there. And finally, another question, what types of adjustments to the AI will we be able to do to set up these races? The currently planned driver ratings are going to be skill, optimism, aggressiveness, smoothness, age, pit strategy, risk taking, and pit crew skill. So you can customize those things, and there'll be a tooltip that will help describe what each thing affects.
Wow.
It's a good descriptions there and helping out there.
Yeah, also it says you'll be able to set up seasons with these, so essentially creating a career mode. Let's see. You can create your opponent roster from scratch by car class, so you'd select LMP1 class with 6 drivers, GT class with 24 drivers, then GT3 class with 30 again if your PC can handle it, that kind of stuff. One more thing, let's see.
I'll be testing that.
Yeah. You can race the AI on any car track combination. So you could have the F1 cars at Irwindale doing the figure 8, or the Lotus 49s at Lanier, whatever your little heart desires.
See, this really goes kind of with the last part there we were talking about. Is it something that they're starting to create a product that's going to be distributed on multiple things, not just PC?
Yeah, and here's a big thing that will affect setup guys. It says you will not be able to load setups to the AI cars. You will be able to adjust their strength using the factors mentioned before. So that kind of sucks.
What?
You can't collect telemetry from them.
Could be something that could add down the road, though, if people ask for it.
This really is good info considering they've been overall very quiet about the AI since they announced it over about a year ago now, isn't it?
Now that's the question I was going to ask when I was watching this, because even Alex Horn said someone had put hashtag soon, and then Alex Horn did I don't know, that face, an emoji that looks like it's, lurking emoji. It's not like it's got something it wants to say soon, and then they haven't announced anything. But we're only a couple of weeks away from the actual March build, right? Like obviously we got the whole month of February, but they have really kept tight. They've kept kind of tight-lipped on exactly what everything is that's going to be with that build.
Yeah, he said he's almost ready to formally announce things about it, so they're getting there. And one last thing on it. Before, I guess it had been rumored that they were going to roll it out only on certain road oval cars, but now they're deciding to roll it out as a finished and complete project. So it sounds like they're almost done.
That was probably the decision they made in the last one, not to release on the last build. It probably was only going to be on select stuff.
Yeah, let it out. I mean, this doesn't have to be like most of the stuff that they release has to be perfect, so people aren't burning down the forums. But with these, if it's a little buggy, who cares? Like, let it out. Let us beta test it. Let us find the bugs. Like this isn't going to matter. Give it to us now. That sounds great.
We already saw it working months ago.
Yeah. Yep. If it's not blowing up our computers, we're good with it.
You're violent today, Chris.
Let's keep going. Tony, Tyler the Tire teaser.
Yeah, this is all in regard to the super late models. I did not know, I still don't know much about these cars, but I guess these cars have been broken for quite some time. So much, in fact, that over at the Posse Setup Emporium on the forums, there was almost a 2-year break in any kind of communication. So they used to release setups for the various tracks and helping guys out. But the one guy, Ty Spearman, that was releasing a lot of these setups, where he basically just said there's nothing we can do about it. He said we can barely even race these cars, as most time on the track is spent just trying not to wreck. And it looked like just the other day, yesterday, Tyler Hudson come on and it said some more updates for this car to address much of the issues that Ty was talking about in the March build. He said maybe even version 7. Did I say that? Why, no, I did not, but anything is possible. So it sounds like for the guys that like to run the super late models that haven't been able to properly for quite some time might be getting a nice little gift come March, hopefully, I guess.
Pavement super late model.
They got to be careful with them saying things like that if they don't bring it.
Well, Tyler just alluded to a version 7 tire build to be in the March build, so.
That was kind of like the other little leak we saw that made us positive it was coming out in the last build or the one before that, right?
It's about a year ago right now, yeah, that they said the same thing.
Well, no, it says right here. It says Tyler said. Did I say that? No, he didn't.
Yeah, he said he didn't say it, so.
Okay, yeah, he could be joking, but it's hard to joke on it when you're just on a forum. But
Sounds to me
who
like,
knows?
It sounds to me like they're very, very close, but hashtag soon.
They got to have something in the March build. It's either going to be the AI or the tire or both.
Well, it sounds like we got into something confirmed in the next one here that I got.
All right, Greg, you go ahead. New GTE car.
So it sounds like, from what they're confirming, Alex Horn has talked about that they're going to put a new GTE car coming out in March, or in the March build, for our World Championship Series in the GTE. Now, there's some speculation on what it's going to be. If it's going to be, someone suggested it might be the M8 or the Corvette C7R, but I think it kind of upset some of the guys here or in there too, like another GTE car. Why they haven't fixed, what, are they gonna have to remove the HPD car from the IMSA series? Why didn't they update the LMP2 car? So, what do you guys think of another GTE car being added, especially after we just started running those cars?
Well, if it's ready, it's ready. Bring it in. But the guys are right about the LMP2s and whatnot. We really need those.
Do you think it's gonna be the Corvette or the M8? And that's probably the only two pretty much options they got. Actually, they could be. I wonder if it could be the. They have the Lamborghini as well.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one. Would you think the Ferrari would get the boot?
Well, no, I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to think of all the cars that competed even in 24 hours there.
Well, yeah, but it's the oldest GTE, right? Because the Ford's 2017, the Porsche is brand new.
Yeah.
But I think it's the Corvette.
The Corvette's been around for a long time. The C6R or whatever we have.
Yeah, it hasn't been updated, so.
All right, let's keep moving. I got this one, 24 Hours of Charlotte. This is a reminder post, February 16th. OP Racing will be hosting the 24 Hours of Charlotte. It is an oval race. The event will use the A car. It will be benefiting Mission 22, which is helping Army veterans, military veterans, with suicide and rate and that kind of thing. The entry fee per team is a minimum donation of $10 directly to Mission 22 via their website. A copy of that receipt you provide to them. You have to have at least one representative from your team on their Facebook group at OP Racing. If you guys want to get involved, that's coming up February 16th. Let's go to hardware software. Greg, SimWorks Pro GT V3 pedals.
So SimWorks is an Australian company here, showing. So they got a new version here, I guess, of a wheel. It's a fully adjustable style, mountable pedal. Well, it looks like it comes on a small base. It's obviously not a sturdy base. It's something to mount to.
We're talking about pedals, not a wheel, right?
Yeah, pedals. Sorry,
pedals.
They're. It says it's developed by drivers for drivers. So, obviously, a bold statement. So obviously they've been tested from some other drivers, but it's like metal construction. They're not a hydraulic pedal. They're probably a load cell. I'm just trying to catch up on all the stuff here.
It's actually a hydraulic and
Oh,
load cell.
it's a hydraulic load cell there. That's what I missed that. Okay, thanks, Mason.
How can it be both? That's confusing to me.
So it looks like it's $1,300. What are they calling it? Australian dollars.
Yeah, this is out of Australia. Now, our listener sent us this, Joe Baldwin. Thanks, Joe. He said he got these to upgrade from the Heiskenveld Pros. And boy, the Heiskenveld Pro is pretty much at the top of the list, and he's saying this is an upgrade to that. So, yeah, thanks, Joe, for letting us know about these. I mean, these are definitely some very high-end pedals that I think we haven't talked about yet.
And it says here it kind of replicates the forces experienced in V8 supercars, GT3, and LMP cars.
It's a pretty steep price tag for them, though. I mean, it's a high-class pedal, obviously, so it's a pretty big price tag, though.
Yeah, simworkswithanx.com.au. So check those out, says Joe Baldwin. All right, Mason, Thrustmaster Phone Cradle.
Yeah, I saw this one on the iRacing Drivers World Facebook page, and I thought it was kind of cool, so I brought it up. This is for Thrustmaster wheelbases, and it's made by Ricmotech. It's a plate that goes in between your wheel and the base, and you put your phone and attach it to that plate. It's like a circle that goes around the base, and then a face plate for your phone. It's got you can put your telemetry on there. It looks kind of like the Mazda MX-5 telemetry they have up on the video, so you can get your gear and your lap time and your miles per hour and the RPMs, just so that you can see that if you have your FOV where you can't see it in the sim, and you don't have VR. So just a cool little thing, little add-on for the Thrustmaster wheels.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a long, long time ago, but it is always good to bring it back up. This is a permanent mount kind of thing. It's not something you can take the phone in and out of easily. You would have to have a dedicated phone to sit in it.
Or even an old iPod or something. It's
Yeah.
$45 for this add-on.
All right. Tony, we found another company, OpenSimRacing.com.
Yeah, OpenSimRacing.com. These are a do-it-yourself guys that basically supply you with all the parts. You just gotta put it together yourself. And these guys look like they do a nice job with the stuff that they're offering. I mean, you can get just about anything you need, from rigs to wheel parts, pedals. And
Where are they located?
if you're in Canada and you're looking for Huskenveld pedals, these are your guys. I don't believe there are too many carriers for that kind of product here in Canada.
Cool.
Might have to wait a little bit because they are sold out at the moment. But I was looking at their racing rigs, and I mean, you can, if you just want to, buy the plans, they'll just sell you the plans, and you can find all the hardware on your own. But they also,
yeah, you can buy the whole thing though.
yeah, and I'm kind of looking at the prices, and I gotta be honest, they're not terrible, and I'm used to seeing such stupid, crazy high prices in Canada.
Yeah, under 600 US for a 8020 triple monitor stationary cockpit. It looks pretty nice. It's under $600. Pretty good price, I thought.
Yeah. So in Canadian that works out to $850, but it's still under $1,000, and that's just not something I'm used to seeing up here. Usually we just get bent over the table.
They got an odd-looking Formula rig where the guy's almost laying down like a Formula One car.
It's a pretty good price for it, too.
No duct tape involved either.
No, I had to step out of the duct tape office to read this one here. This is a little more cleaner and higher end stuff than what I'm used to talking about, but it's still very visual pleasing, and it's, you know what, it gives you that do it yourself option, so you
Do you
can.
see the price on that? That's pretty good price.
The F1 rig, $121.
Like that's like a wheel stand you get for that price, not something that you sit down in.
I think they make this one out of cardboard though.
Yeah, I know.
No, it's yeah, maybe it's a typo. You wouldn't think it would be
That cheap? Yeah.
that cheap, yeah, because it's
Oh, I
all
know what
like,
it is. I know that it. Okay, I see what it is.
you got to do all the CNCing yourself, I
Oh, this
guess,
is
eh?
just the parts, or it's just the plans. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're paying $160 for the plans.
Aha.
Research.
All right, let's
Interesting.
keep going. Chris, the Pimax 5K review.
Yeah, and this is another guy that looks like he got his hands on one of the new Primax 5Ks, Jani Olamary, his name. The reviews seem to be kind of echo what we had seen so far. Pretty similar to the CV1, but with a better pixel density, better picture. Might be a little bit more intense for your graphics card. I'm sorry, Mason, maybe you can help me out here. I did notice that you had mentioned that he had a setup fix here, but I didn't catch it. Is somebody
Yeah.
having some issues with the new Primax?
Yeah, about 3/4 way down the page, it's the tracking sensor placement. Seems to be whenever the Miege motor is off or on, something to do with that. It's like I said, it's about halfway down the page on a January 26th post that he has directions on that.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. I think I had seen a couple other people post about that. And I
Yeah,
think
one
a couple of
guy.
the other headsets have similar problems.
Yeah, one guy said he likes to take or lift the headset up like during caution, and so he can see, or get some cooling. And every time he does that with this one, it loses its tracking and it messes things up.
Does this have a tracking in the headset, or does this have like towers or sensors similar to the Vive and Rift?
I'm not sure, but yeah, that one. There are mixed results about the tracking. Yeah, definitely. All right, Mason, curved screen VR.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet. It's a post on patentlyapple.com. It's saying that Samsung has gotten the patent to invent a next-gen Gear VR headset that provides a curved display for a more natural field of view and more. So it looks the image that they drew up there looks kind of like I've been watching Star Trek lately, so it looks like Lieutenant LaForge, but
Jordy.
with but with a bigger screen size there. So it's going to be kind of cool there to see what they end up doing with the curved screen VR, since right now I believe they're flat panels, right?
Yep, and Samsung has the new S10 Galaxy phone coming out, supposedly with a foldable display, and so we know that screens can bend like this now, and so yeah, this would be the next step: is no flat panels, in these VR goggles. Just have one continuous panel that's half oval instead of circle.
I'm excited. I can't wait to have peripheral in VRs.
All right, next, Greg, the golden standard for sim rigs.
Oh, yeah. This is going to be fun. So, a listener asked for a picture of a professional podcaster here, Tony Groves, his rig. So he obliged on the iRacers Lounge Facebook page. Tony, do you want to go through it here and describe what it is here?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much your standard PVC rig. it's probably not as nice and clean as
It's
what a
black.
lot of people do. Well, yeah, it's because I cheaped out. It's not actually PVC; it's ABS. But it's strong enough for what I need it for. Um, this is slightly modified from the simulator plans that pretty much everybody uses as a base. I just have it raised up a bit so it sits nicer with my desk setup. I got a nice little mouse perch there, and the gear shift shelf is not all that ideal if I'm not constantly making sure it's tightened down. The damn thing comes off of my hands every now and again. Haven't quite figured out a solution for that yet, but I'm sure it's going to involve either Velcro or duct tape.
There you go.
Get some twine.
I love the seat, man.
What's
Yeah,
That's plush.
yeah, that seat's out of an old Grand Am or Grand Prix of some sort. I snagged the passenger side seat out of that. I had a chance at an actual race seat, but I was going strictly for comfort here. So I can sit in this thing for hours without any issues at all.
Is your pedals pinched between two boards there, or are they actually screwed in as well?
No, my pedals aren't screwed in. There is a board at the bottom so the pedals don't slide down. Amazingly, though, they actually stay in place pretty darn good. It slide every now and again if I get a little crazy, but they work pretty well.
Why wouldn't you need to put something that they don't move at all? Like a little
Well,
galvanized strap for like plumbing strap. I think that would right against the back here. That would hold it down nice.
yes. So I didn't want to strap down my pedals because I wasn't 100% sure if I was going to keep the board that it sits on top of um, the the one ABS pipe or if I was going to change it and mount it underneath. I just wasn't sure of the angle, but that was like 6 or 8 months ago. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay where it is. I just haven't got around to it.
And I'm guessing that one simple board beside the seat is just like an armrest for your arm.
Drink holder.
Oh,
No,
I guess.
that's for a mouse. I actually never use it, but that's what I put it there for.
You must have a tiny mouse.
What? Yeah, I kind of look like one of those little.
It's short strokes for him. Short strokes.
Just jack the
Oh.
sensitivity way up on the mouse. You can use it.
All right. Nice looking rig there, Tony. All right.
Thanks.
Let's go into the next one. Tony, you got Hybrid Racing Sims new wheel.
Oh.
Yeah. I was. I don't know what kind of wheel it is. It's a half wheel.
It's like a GT wheel. It's like a GT wheel.
There you go. I'm not generally a big fan of these, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've never used one. I've never put my hands on one. But I believe the picture that they're showing us is actually one that they had used as a limited edition for the last couple of years, but they've got a revamped version of this. It build quality, it does look solid. It's got your all the buttons and dials that you need. The wheels wrapped in a nice light colored suede.
Wow, it's gold colored. It's a bright gold, and that's what makes this wheel just pop.
Yeah, and I think I see some carbon fiber shifters just snuck in behind. They only give you the one picture to look at, but a lot of, according to the comments, everybody goes kind of going crazy over the looks of this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the gold suede is just very unique. I've never seen a wheel like that.
it's nice stitching too on it. The other thing I noticed on it, I guess you could have a custom front plate here on the front of it because it's showing Monaco on the it looks like Monaco. Yeah, it's Monaco track. If you guys had a custom rim like this, what track would you have on the center if you could?
Probably be Daytona. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Neat looking wheel. All right, let's keep going. We're almost out of time. I got the next one, rig review. This is from James Summers Jr. in the forums. He put up some pictures of his cockpit. He built actually a long time ago, but man, did you see the pictures of this thing? I mean, his dash. This is the biggest dash I've ever seen. I mean, he's got a dash that goes underneath all three of his triple screens, and the screens kind of sit on this dash, and he's got flip switches and buttons and gauges and RPM and everything. It's crazy.
I like the.
Speakers built in there.
Is that what those things? Those two little at the ends there? I was gonna think they were speakers, but.
Yeah.
And then it's got analog gauges. That's pretty sweet.
Got a place to hang his wheel. I don't know why you'd want to take that off.
Probably in and out, so you don't break, because that's usually the most common thing to break is when people use pressure to get in and out of a wheel.
Yeah, to build a custom dash like that, that's really taking it to another level. I think those always look so cool.
Tony, I think it's missing the Tony labels though. It needs Tony's labels.
Yeah, this guy's done a really nice job. Everything is just so clean and polished. It's quite impressive. I know we've looked at quite a few of these, over the course of the last while. But this one, it almost kind of going back, and it probably ages me a little bit. But Knight Rider, the inside of Kit, this is kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah, control center.
All the wiring for all those gauges, like if you go through that photo or the photos things he's got posted here of the whole build, look at the wires behind the dash.
Yeah, every button's got one. He's got all.
Holy crap.
Yeah, pretty cool. It looks like it was initially built out of wood. Yeah, pretty nice setup. Crazy looking at those pictures.
Nice work,
All right.
James.
Yeah, good job, James Summers. All right, final story, Greg. Jinx shifters.
So, JP Sim Shed posted a thing up on their Facebook page. I won't go through the whole post here, but looks like someone was wanting a custom built ARB lever to go with their sequential shifter. So looks like they came up with this what I'm just trying to the ARB lever, is that just like the handbrake? I'm just trying to figure out.
Anti-roll bar.
Oh, the anti-roll bars. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, that's good. My bad on that one. But
it's a 3-lever system.
And I guess it mounts to any 80/20 chassis. It can be on both sides, left or right. But it looks like a pretty heavy duty metal construction with color coded levers and an easy plug-in system.
It's a very nice looking setup. Those Jinx shifters, and yeah, if you look at their website, you can actually see it mounted on an actual 80/20 rig, like right up on one of the rails. It like perfectly fits.
So
and very impressed. I mean, we've seen some good shifters recently. This one is right there with them.
So you got to contact Simon at jinxshifters@gmail.com. So it's JINX shifters@gmail.com.
Yeah, they have a Facebook under the same name, and so that's where you can see all the pictures. But yeah, it looks like a really nice setup. It's made out of metal. They look bulletproof. The wiring looks clean. They're low profile. They look like they're easy to mount. No idea on pricing.
They don't look cheap, so
they don't look cheap.
They probably are pretty expensive.
They look nice. Like I said, these are definitely nice ones. All right, well, that's it. Let's go into final thoughts. I guess Chris Scales, you're first.
Don't have much this week. Just ready to get NIS started. Same as usual.
All right, very good. Greg Hectus, final thought.
Just looking forward to next week's race at Iowa, the final one before the playoffs for the Old Bastards Racing League. Yeah, you can come follow me on watch my race anything at race. I'll be racing some endurance stuff this weekend at twitch.tv/frozen cactus, frozen with two O's, or frozen with two O's, cactus with two K's, and yeah, just looking forward to racing as much as I can this weekend.
All right, very good. Mason Stiver.
Yeah, just a little recap on the Online Sim Racing Association Daytona 2011 at sunset. I had an alpha race. I wrecked on lap 2. Or got wrecked on lap 2 and accidentally pushed my tow button and went down 2 laps. Never got him back. Everybody kept wrecking. It was a pretty crappy race, but I just got in the mail my track IR system. Excited to test that out tonight and see if that might help me avoid wrecks. I don't know. We'll see.
Track IR, that's where it looks to the apex.
Yeah, it's whatever Greg has.
All right, well, good luck with that. All right, Tony Groves, final thought?
Yeah, you guys kind of surprised me a little bit by throwing up that post of my rig. I didn't see that one coming. That was I'm such a terrible at social media stuff. I don't no good at it, but I gotta say I've been when I posted it up on the podcast Facebook page, I had a lot of fun interacting with everybody that was posting up their pictures of their rigs and stuff like that. I did say that I'd post up kind of the evolution of my sim racing setups over the last couple of years. I'm still trying to find a couple of pictures that really put it all into perspective, so to speak. Boy, I tell you, it gets real redneck. Holy cow! But yeah, just wanted to. I was having a lot of fun talking with some of the listeners and whoever was throwing in their thoughts there. So I'm gonna get those other pictures posted up and look forward to more conversation on them.
Okay, very good. And special guest Josh Sleater, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining the team. And what are your final thoughts?
I'm just looking forward to being a part of the team, seeing what we can accomplish going forward throughout the 2019 year, and I think it's really going to help me become a better racer, having a team to rely on and work on things together. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to that and see what I can contribute to the team going forward too. So I appreciate it.
All right, very good. Yeah, we're happy to have you. All right, and my final thoughts, yeah, I still am struggling with streaming. I actually did some more experimentation today where I turned down some of the graphical settings and ran the stream, and it worked perfectly fine. So basically, I can't stream when I have all the bells and whistles turned on. You think with my 1080 Ti and all that, I'd be able to do that, but apparently not. And so I'm still trying to figure that out. I don't think I'm willing to turn off all the graphical stuff. I don't really care too much about streaming. I just kind of do it for fun, but I'm more concerned about the eye candy. I want every little box checked and I want everything turned on because it looks freaking awesome. And when I turned it down for the test, I could tell the difference. It was big. And so I don't think I'm going to be streaming. I'm just going to leave everything turned on and let it rip. Other than that, I mean, we are growing. We did add a new team member. We're probably looking at one more maybe. So if you're interested, hit me up. And with that, we'll see you on the track later.
All right.
User in your channel
All
started
right.
Clear.
recording.
Title
Have
ideas.
a good one. Thanks for watching.